Welcome back to North of the Broad. I'm your host, Karen Wyman, coming to you from Higher Ground on Ladies Island. I'm joined this afternoon by Dr. John Fisk. Dr. Fisk, welcome to North of the Broad.
Thank you.
Thank you for being
welcome.
here. Good, I'm glad. You have a lot going on, and certainly we want you to have the opportunity to explain to viewers why it is that you're here today.
Well, I'm here today to help create an awareness in the Low Country of some of the issues internationally with disabled children.
Mm-hmm.
I work with an organization that is dedicated to educating caregivers in those settings and to the charity work in those settings.
So how did you become interested in these issues?
I'm a retired children's orthopedic surgeon. In that capacity, working at a medical school, I had a lot of children with disabilities. They required the services of prosthetists, orthotists,
mm-hmm.
brace makers, and limb makers.
Mm-hmm.
It was natural for me in that setting to work with educational activities with that group of caregivers. In retirement, I found that I could do the same thing and do it in an international setting. I now work with an organization that fosters education of prosthetists, orthotists in Southeast Asia, and has a large charity program for disabled children in Cambodia.
Right, and I can just only assume that there's a significant need there for those children who have not had types of services and technology that we see here in our own country.
Cambodia is one of those nations that is called the previous warring nations.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of landmines. There's a lot of reasons for injured children as well as birth defects and other disabilities.
So how are you going about creating that interest here in this country?
That's always an uphill struggle, and that's why I'm here today.
It's a euphemistic way of putting it.
Right. That's why I'm here today. We are organizing an awareness campaign in the Low Country, holding oyster roasts, wine and cheese parties. We have a newsletter and an active website. Our organization here is a U.S. not-for-profit called American Friends of Exceed. American Friends of Exceed supports solely the charity activities of children in Cambodia. Yes, in Cambodia.
Right, so people who get involved, come to one of your events, hopefully make a contribution and a donation, know exactly how those funds are going to be used and in what area they're going to be served.
Yes, or if we have their contact information, they can receive our newsletter, know about our activities, and donate online.
Got it. And so what's the best way for people to find your organization online?
The website, American Friends of Exceed, at exceed/worldwide.org. This will be on the screen,
Mm-hmm.
I understand.
They will, yep.
And there's contact information there.
Right, and we want to let people know that Exceed is spelled E-S-C-E-E-D, just so they get that correct, yes. So tell our listeners other ways that they can get involved.
Well, by registering with us, they can get our newsletter, they can become volunteers, they can...
Hobie's excited about that.
Yes, they can work with us.
Dr. Fisk, can you give our listeners an example of some work of American Friends of Exceed?
Yeah, a good example would be a young boy who was born with deformities in his lower extremities, could not walk. By the provision of a brace or support for their legs, he can now attend school. Education is the key to employment.
Mm-hmm.
Employment is the key to getting out of poverty.
Mm-hmm.
And the cycle of poverty among the disabled is just terrible.
Yep, tremendous.
And so a simple provision of a device, some therapy, some healing, and this child can go on in life as you and I know it.
Right, so obviously to take away those physical barriers to allow people to be successful and hopefully eliminate some of those mental barriers that I'm sure these patients and young people suffer from. So tell our listeners out there other ways that they can get involved.
They can contact us through the website and register to receive our newsletter. We welcome donations, and we will be looking for volunteers to help us organize events going forward.
Great. And so we hope that the next time you have an event coming up, we can get you back on the show, have an opportunity to talk about the where, the whens, and the whys, and get the community involved and help you create a little bit more awareness.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fisk, for being a guest. We'll be right back with our next guest on North of the Broad.